Have you ever stopped to think about what you'd do if your heart suddenly started hurting and you were completely alone? It might sound like an exaggeration. A lot of people believe they'll have enough time to call for help or that someone will show up. But for those who live alone, the reality is different. In those moments, you can't count on luck. What if I told you your own body warns you in advance? That it sends out signals, but you have to learn how to listen, even when you're scared. Picture this. You're sitting on the couch and suddenly feel a strange tightness in your chest. The house is silent. Your phone is far away. There's no one around. In that moment, it's not strength that saves you, it's knowing what to do. There's a right way to respond, a method that many people have never heard of, but it can make all the difference in the first 5 minutes. That's what you're going to learn in this video. A simple, straightforward, step-by-step guide. No fluff, no gimmicks, just what actually works when it matters most. And maybe, by the end, you'll realize the real danger was never the heart attack itself. It was not being prepared for it. So if this content speaks to you in any way, give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment below. I choose to be prepared and take care of my health. That helps this video reach more people who need it. Maybe even someone you love. Right now, you might be thinking, do I really need to worry about this now? And that's exactly where the danger lies. Many people believe they'll have time, that they'll just take a deep breath, lie down for a bit and wait for it to pass. But with a heart attack, waiting might be the worst choice, especially if you're alone. What almost nobody tells you is that the body warns you first. The heart doesn't just stop suddenly without warning, it sends signals. But those signals are often ignored or mistaken for something else. It's that day when you feel a weight on your chest, but think it's just bad posture. Or when you feel an odd fatigue out of nowhere and assume it's just a poor night's sleep. Lightheadedness, shortness of breath, cold sweat at the wrong time. All of these are signals from your body, and too many people don't take them seriously. Do you know why? Because we've learned to normalize discomfort. We think, oh, it's just age, or I don't want to bother anyone with this, or even, it'll go away. But what you need to know is that those minutes of doubt are precious, and that's exactly when many people lose their chance to survive. People who live alone need one thing above all: to be prepared. It's not about living in fear, it's about living with awareness, knowing what's normal and what could be a warning. Because when you understand the signs, you don't panic, you act. Calmly, with focus, with intelligence, and that's what we're going to do starting now. Let's understand together the main signs your body gives before a heart attack happens. This is one of the most important parts of the video, because recognizing the signs is the first step to staying calm and saving your life. The most common symptom, and the best known, is chest pain. But don't think it has to be a strong, unbearable pain like in the movies. In many cases, it's just a strange pressure, a weight in the center of the chest like something is pressing from the inside. It can come on gradually, come and go, or even get worse over time. Another very important sign is pain in the left arm. It can start off mild and grow stronger, or even appear without chest pain. This pain can radiate, meaning it spreads to the shoulder, neck, back, or jaw. Sometimes a person only feels tingling or discomfort in the arm and doesn't associate it with anything serious, but it's one of the most dangerous signs. Other common symptoms include shortness of breath, even without physical exertion, sudden cold sweat, even in a cool environment, dizziness, lightheadedness, or feeling like you might faint, nausea, queasiness, or even stomach pain, and extreme fatigue, like your body is suddenly drained for no clear reason. These signs can appear alone or together, and it varies from person to person. The most important thing to remember is, in older adults, the symptoms are sometimes milder or different. That's why many people take too long to realize something serious is happening. That's why the best way to protect yourself is to pay close attention to your body. You know your own rhythm. You know when something feels off. And if something feels strange, even if it's not a strong pain, trust your intuition. A lot of people wait for the symptom to go away. They think, it's probably just discomfort. Others drink a glass of water, lie down, and try to give it a minute. But that wait can come at a high cost. So here's a simple, practical rule to remember. If you feel chest pain or pressure, along with at least one of these signs, arm pain, shortness of breath, cold sweat, dizziness, or nausea, don't wait. Call emergency services immediately. If you're unsure whether it's a heart attack or not, always treat it like it is. It's better to call for help and find out it wasn't serious than to do nothing and take a real risk. One more thing. Sometimes the signs show up days before the actual attack. For example, you might feel extreme fatigue, a general sense of discomfort in your body, or brief moments of uneasiness. That could already be a warning, and the sooner you seek medical guidance, the better. Now that you know how to recognize the signs, you're one step ahead. You're more prepared than many people. This moment might be difficult, but with clear information, you'll know what to do. No panic. With wisdom, and with a real chance to survive. Now that you know how to spot the signs, let's move on to the most important part. What to do in the first 5 minutes when it all begins, and you're alone. These minutes are critical. They can either save your life or leave you without the chance to call for help. But with the right mindset, even alone, you can protect yourself. Step 1. Sit down or lie back with support. As soon as you realize something is wrong, chest pressure, arm pain, shortness of breath, don't stand or walk around. A lot of people try to walk it off around the house, and that only increases strain on the heart. Sit on a sturdy chair or on the couch with your back fully supported. If you can, lie down in a slightly reclined position with your upper body elevated. This helps with breathing, reduces strain on the heart, and protects you in case you lose consciousness. Most important, don't move around too much. Save your energy. Keep your body still and stable. Step 2. Take deep breaths and stay as calm as possible. Yes, it's scary, but panic speeds up your heart rate, increases pain, and might even cause you to faint. Try to control your breathing like this. Inhale through your nose while counting to 4. Hold your breath for 2 seconds. Exhale slowly through your mouth while counting to 6. Repeat this cycle. It helps your brain get oxygen and reduces panic. Tell yourself softly, I'm here, I'm breathing, I know what to do. This simple phrase keeps you grounded and focused. Step 3. Call emergency services, even if it's hard. If the phone is nearby, call the emergency number right away. Speak clearly and calmly. I'm alone and having chest pain. It might be a heart attack. Give your address as clearly as possible. Put the phone on speaker. If you lose strength, the dispatcher will still hear you. But what if you're far from the phone? If you can get up safely, move slowly. Use walls or sturdy furniture for support. Exert yourself as little as possible. Every step should be deliberate and unhurried. If you're on an upper floor or there are stairs, don't try to go down. Go to the nearest phone and sit next to it before dialing. Now, if you can't stand up or you feel very weak, shout for help. Even if you think no one will hear, a neighbor might. Bang on the wall or floor with an object. If you have an emergency device or panic button, activate it immediately. Unlock the door, if you can, to make it easier for help to get in. Important. If you live alone, it's worth keeping a phone within reach in every room, or even using a portable emergency device. That makes all the difference in a situation like this. Step 4. If you have aspirin, take 1 tablet. If you've already been advised by a doctor or have no contraindications, chew 1 100 mg aspirin tablet. It helps thin the blood, preventing clots from forming that could worsen the heart attack. But be careful. If you're allergic to aspirin, have bleeding problems, or are taking blood thinners, do not take it without medical guidance. If you're unsure, wait for emergency services to arrive. Step 5. Stay awake and in a safe position. After calling for help, don't try to do anything else. Don't get up to open the door or grab medication. Stay seated or lying down, with your phone nearby. Keep breathing slowly and repeat to yourself, I'm doing everything right. Help is on the way. If you start feeling like you're going to faint, try coughing forcefully and rhythmically. This can keep your heart active for a few seconds. But don't overdo it. Staying calm and conscious is the top priority. These 5 steps are simple, but they save lives, and knowing them before you need them is what gives you power. Now that you know what to do, it's just as important to know what you should absolutely not do during a possible heart attack. Because yes, many people, out of instinct or misinformation, end up doing dangerous things thinking they're helping themselves, when in fact, they're making things worse. Don't ignore the signs thinking it will pass. This is the most common mistake. A person feels discomfort, mild pain, dizziness, and thinks, oh, I'm just nervous, or I'll lie down for a bit and see if it goes away. The problem is, heart attacks usually don't get better on their own. In fact, they get worse. The more you wait, the more your heart suffers, and the less time you have to react. Don't try to sleep it off thinking your body will recover. Many people think, if I sleep, I'll feel better in the morning. But falling asleep during a heart attack can be fatal. If you feel unusual signs in your chest, arm, breathing, or sudden nausea, stay awake. Your body is asking for help and you need to listen. Don't drive yourself to the hospital. As brave as it may seem, this is extremely dangerous. During an attack, you could lose consciousness at any moment. If that happens while driving, you risk your life and the lives of others. Even if it seems faster, never get behind the wheel in this condition. The best choice is always to call emergency services. Don't take medications on your own, except for aspirin. Avoid sedatives, painkillers, or any other substances without medical advice. Many medications can mask symptoms or interfere with heart function. The best approach is to take aspirin, if previously approved by a doctor, and wait for medical help. These automatic mistakes are very common, especially when someone is trying to tough it out or doesn't want to bother anyone. But remember, taking care of yourself is not selfish, it's responsibility. Knowing what to do during a heart attack is essential. Just as important is being prepared before the emergency happens, especially for those who live alone. And don't worry, you don't need a big investment. With a few simple actions, you can greatly increase your everyday safety. 1. Keep important numbers visible at all times. Write the emergency number in large letters. Also include your full address, apartment floor, and the number of a trusted neighbor or family member. Post this sheet in visible spots, like on the fridge door, next to the phone, or near the bed. It can help emergency services act faster. 2. Keep your cell phone close at all times. Many people leave their phone charging far away, in the living room, the kitchen. But if something happens, you might not have time to get to it. Make it a habit to always keep your phone nearby, especially at night next to your bed and during the day wherever you are in the house. You can also use a small pouch or discreet waste bag to keep your phone with you, even inside the house. 3. Use an emergency button or smartwatch if possible. In Germany, there are many services and devices aimed at seniors who live alone. Some of these devices have an emergency button or send automatic alerts to family members and emergency services. If you can, invest in a smartwatch with an SOS feature or a portable emergency button. These aren't luxuries, they're safety measures. 4. Leave the door unlocked if you feel unwell. If you feel chest pain, weakness, or dizziness, try to unlock the door before lying down. That way, if you lose consciousness, help can get in faster. In Germany, this is especially important due to automatic locking systems in many buildings and apartments. 5. Set up a simple check-in routine with someone, talk to a neighbor, a close friend, or a family member. Say something like, "If I don't respond by a certain time, just give me a call to make sure everything's okay." This creates a light-touch support network that doesn't interfere with your independence, but can make all the difference in an emergency. Living alone doesn't mean being unprotected. It means you need to be a bit more aware, and when you prepare calmly and wisely, you live with more freedom and less fear. Now that you've learned what to do and how to prepare, let me tell you a real simple story, one that shows how much of a difference this knowledge can make. Mrs. Ingrid is 76 years old and lives alone in Cologne, Germany. Widowed for over 10 years, she's always been independent, takes care of her home, does her own shopping, and enjoys having breakfast while looking out at the garden. One Sunday morning, right after waking up, Ingrid felt a strange tightness in her chest. It wasn't a strong pain, but it was different. It came with a light cold sweat and a sense of weakness. She took a deep breath, sat silently for a few seconds, and remembered a video she had watched about emergency preparedness. She didn't ignore it. She slowly sat down in her armchair, picked up the phone, which she always kept on her nightstand, and dialed. In a calm, quiet voice, she said, "I'm alone and having chest pain. It might be something with my heart." She put the phone on speaker, sat upright and kept breathing slowly. She had already left a note on the door with her apartment number and left the door unlocked, part of a routine she'd established since she started living alone. The ambulance arrived in just a few minutes. She was conscious, calm, and the doctor said clearly, "It was your calmness and speed that saved your life." This story could belong to anyone, to you, or to someone you love. And what made the difference? It wasn't a miracle treatment, it was knowledge, preparation, presence of mind, knowing how to recognize the signs, knowing what to do, knowing when to act. That's why we're here, Because even living alone doesn't mean you're helpless. You have a choice, you have power, and now you have the information. After everything we've gone through here, you might be thinking, but what if I can't do it? What if fear takes over before I can react? And that's why this video wasn't made to create fear. It was made to build awareness and confidence. Because the biggest risk isn't being alone. The biggest risk is being alone and unprepared. The truth is, no one teaches us this. Most of the time we only learn about emergencies after we've gone through one, but you're learning ahead of time. You're choosing to take care of your health before something happens. And that in itself is an act of courage. Look at what's changed just from this one video. Now you know how to recognize the signs your body gives. You know what to do in the first 5 minutes. You know what not to do. And you know how to prepare your home and your routine to protect yourself better. You're stronger now than you were 20 minutes ago. And when we understand what's happening in our body, even fear can change. What used to paralyze you can now be faced with a plan, with clarity, with calm, with wisdom. Living alone is not the end of the road. Living alone is, many times, a new chapter, and it can, and should, be lived with dignity, autonomy, and protection. Let's recap what you've learned today. You discovered that the body gives warnings before a heart attack happens. You learned how to recognize the most common signs, like chest pain, arm pain, shortness of breath, cold sweat, dizziness, or extreme fatigue. You understood that the first 5 minutes are the most important, and what you do in that time can determine whether you survive or not. You learned the simple step-by-step. Sit or lie down calmly. Breathe deeply to control the panic. Call emergency services. Take an aspirin if it's safe. Stay awake, alert, and in a safe position until help arrives. And most importantly, you learned what not to do. No waiting it out. No sleeping it off. No driving. These mistakes cost lives, and now you know how to avoid them. You also learned practical tips for those who live alone, from keeping your phone nearby to setting up a simple check-in routine with someone you trust. And in the middle of all this, you realize that being prepared is an act of self-love. It's saying, my life matters. I deserve to be safe. If this video resonates with you, share it with someone else who lives alone. You could be the reason someone else is safer tomorrow. And of course, subscribe to the channel, leave a like and comment below. I choose to prepare and take care of my life. We'll see you in the next video, with more guidance for living with awareness, health, and peace of mind.